All right. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to Activating the Truth in Doses. I am your resident therapist, Jill Jackson.
Resident angry man, LeVar
Mr.
Green.
I Stay
I stay
Mad,
mad.
y'all.
Yeah, our names usually be over our heads,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so
Yeah,
you'll
yeah.
see.
Well, we glad y'all came back and joined us. We
Right?
got a we got a hot one today.
Yeah,
A good one.
yeah.
All right. So the topic we're going to be talking about today is social media and mental health. How to protect your self-esteem online. We
What's
we
interesting is
okay.
last night. I guess this is movie on Netflix, a really documentary about catfish or unknown number or something like that. My wife had us watch, and it was a like literally social media heavy based
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
like just the whole dynamics of messing with somebody's mind. It was really go watch it. It was really interesting. And when you see who's behind the
Listen, when
messages.
you told me today, I got mad. I ain't even watched the thing yet. I'm like,
Oh,
what?
whoo.
How?
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But this is so realistic because there's a lot of people on this planet who have been living their life by what they see in other people's lives. And at some point, many of us, to include myself, have made a statement, I'm not where I'm supposed to be in life. Well, who says so? God didn't give you a timeline for your life and where you're
Right.
supposed to be. But this is
Absolutely.
based on what I have been seeing, what I have my hands on now. And in that phone, in those devices, we can see a lot of people's lives. Let me say it like this: a lot of what they portray their lives to be,
I like the way you put that.
and
Expound on that. Why do you say
uh,
it that way?
because it ain't all real.
Yeah.
What people posting, everybody's not posting the reality of their life, the reality of their heart, or the reality of their mind.
Right.
Even those who might be wildly rich with money, post how your heart look.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
some people are happy,
Yeah.
but there's some folk with
That
some of
are
these posts and different
miserable,
things. Oh my
that are
goodness.
literally on the brink or whatever. And I think that's the thing. Like, what people don't realize is, yeah, there are people out here that are wealthy enough to have these things. Some people are going as far as renting vehicles and portraying things online. They're renting, like, I didn't even know this. I heard somewhere, I don't even know if it's true, that you can like rent an airplane and like take video of yourself
Yep.
getting on and off of an airplane like you own a private jet
Yeah.
and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
And so I think the point that you're making is we're aligning ourselves and comparing ourselves to things that aren't even reality.
You know, one of the best businesses probably to start right now, and I'm being funny but almost realistic, is find a way to feed people's vainness.
True. True
Because
story.
in the end of days, people will be lovers of themselves.
Yeah.
That's scripture.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think people are lovers of themselves. And I do love myself.
Yeah.
But goodness gracious, like some people, if you look in their phones or they're always posting about them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
Yeah,
nothing
it's
else. It's just a
constant.
picture of
Yeah,
them or
yeah,
just
yeah.
it's like, y'all, like, we gotta, whatever, teach his own. How are you gonna protect your mental health in this whole
So
thing?
let's start with some things. So I was looking
Yeah.
at some articles and stuff before we logged on. And in 2003, it was estimated that 4.9 billion, with a B, people are on social
That's
media.
half the population, bro.
And that on an average, people spend 145 minutes a day on social media. Do you realize that's over 2 hours a day? You only
I
get
believe it.
24.
I believe it.
Yeah. And I think it's easy to
It
do
is.
because I think you don't realize, sometimes I don't even realize how often I pick up this phone and start scrolling or doing something on it. We wake up to it. We on our lunch break, you know.
Yep.
The bad part is when we in our cars driving. That's the distraction piece of it. We live in Atlanta, y'all. It's some wild drivers here,
Yes, it
everywhere.
is.
But it's become so ingrained in our day to day life that I don't think, you know what really woke me up though, and I think we've mentioned this in a different one. When you get them weekly usage stats,
Yeah, you talked about yours. I gotta figure out how to look at mine. I have
I'm
not
gonna
looked
show
at
you
mine.
before you leave today because I think it shocked me. I was like, I spent that much time on the phone.
I'm scared to see mine. Now,
Yeah.
I do have my moments where I waste time, and I don't like it. It angers me because I'm like, dang, I could have been doing something else useful. And I'm talking about the meaningless, mindless scrolling.
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
I don't like doing it. I do a better job of not doing that. But I am on social media a lot because I'm watching podcasts, I'm listening to sermons.
But I think okay, so so you're getting into what we were talking about when we were kind of conversing on this topic, that there's good and there's bad.
Right.
So social
This
media
show
and
is
the
good.
fact, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Stay on here, stay
Keep
locked
watching,
in.
keep watching. We're giving you good
Real
stuff.
talk.
But like, it's a way for us to stay connected with family and
Yeah,
friends
I
that are
like
far
that.
away,
I
to
like
kind
that.
of be a part of their life. It's a way for us to learn. We lovingly call YouTube University or whatever, because you can learn how to do
Yeah.
just about anything on there.
Wife learned how to do barrel twists in 2 minutes
That's
because
what I'm
one on came
saying.
loose. I was looking
That's what
crazy
I'm
as I don't know
saying.
what the other day. I
but
probably
but
look
you make
crazy
a
now.
good point. Sometimes it's
Tuck
not
it
what
in.
we're using it for.
Yep.
It's not just how much. Sorry, it's not just how much we're using it. It's what we're using it for. So if
Hmm.
you're using it to build yourself up, to grow, to expose yourself to new information, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Right.
Now, what you got to be careful of though is that you don't start neglecting the people that are around you and the life that needs to be lived because
Hmm.
you're so in the mindless
Yeah, plugged
scrolling.
in there. Yeah. Any day, I take human interaction.
Right.
As much as sometimes the thought of a work from home job, because of just traffic and all that. Truth be told, I don't want no regular 9 to 5. I want the full entrepreneurship life, and if that be God's will, and I'm trying to work on some things, then let's do it. Um, but I like human interaction
Yeah.
with the right humans, not
Right.
just any human, because some humans get on my nerves.
You've been calling people humans for a while. Like, that's code word for. Listen, you see how he's sighing, right? Yeah.
Y'all, you ever show up to a place that you have to give your time to for almost 40 hours a week, and you don't even sit in your chair yet, and the talking already starts? I've been doing better with it.
You have.
I have
You have been doing
a
better.
particular person in the office. I don't know if she ever watches, but if she does, she knows exactly who we talk about. Who can talk, 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 and and
Wearing your
so
ear
much
off.
so that one of the other coworkers, I say coworkers, just we all work in the same space and we all ain't part of the same department, told this lady, "Man, we only get about 7 minutes of silence from you a day."
Dang.
Oh my god!
Golly.
I heard that, and normally I have my headphones in. I about slid out my chair laughing.
Oh.
And of course, now I'm drawn into that conversation because they're like, "LeVar, you laughing?" I'm like, "Ugh,
Now they want to talk. They're like,
ugh."
he heard us.
But man,
Yeah.
so how
You
did I
take
share that?
human interaction.
Human
But here's
interactions,
the thing.
yes.
Okay, so I think that when we think back to the time when we grew up, like, we
Right.
didn't have social media, we didn't have cell
At
phones.
all.
So it was human
It
interaction.
was.
Like your siblings, your friends,
And
the
you knew
people in the
where everybody
neighborhood.
was because the number bikes
Exactly.
in the yard.
Exactly.
You're like, "Oh,
Exactly.
they all."
But I think that's one of the things with, youth today. Like, I think sometimes they don't understand the importance of human interaction
Right.
because we're so used to texting. And I think in some ways, I think they've done studies on this in regards to, like, we're losing our ability to know how to engage with one another, to
Right.
have human
Yeah.
relationship in some ways because we're so used to texting.
Yeah.
And texting doesn't give you people's inflection in their voice. It doesn't
Facial
give you
expressions,
touch. It facial. You learn so
body
much about a
language.
person from how, not just what they're saying, but how they're saying it.
And then what they're not saying with their body language. Because
Yeah.
body language, so this is a real study because I just actually took this course at work the other day. Between body language, tone, and actual verbal, they were like, which one, what's the percentage of verbal do you think people
I
really
knew
pick
this
up
at
on?
some point because I'm a communications major,
They
but
said
remind
it's
me.
only 7%
For the
is what they
communication.
capture from verbal. And it's
Wow.
over, I think it was over 60% for the body language. You know what I mean? And then the tone is the other part because your tone and reflection speaks even more than what the words you're saying. But people pay way more attention to your body language than they actually hear what you're saying.
Yeah, if you think about it, like if you say, "How are you doing?" and I'm like, "Oh, I'm fine," that translates what I'm fine. You can
Right.
read
The
that. You know what I'm saying?
same.
Like, you're like, "Whoa, okay, you're
Right.
saying you're fine, but your body language is not communicating that you are okay."
And that's where I think the detach comes from when it comes to some of the younger ones and even older people getting detached too because of how much they're on social media. So for my youngest son, LJ, love LJ. LJ through the conversations can come across very dry, but he's very heavy an introvert. He don't talk a lot. But I think for a lot of the young adults, and he's doing so much better now. Like the other day,
Yeah.
our conversations can be tense sometimes. He's 16, growing. I'm the dad, so we butt heads at times. But he'll cut you off or just like not almost just be dismissive. And so the other day we were talking about weight training or something because you seen LJ. LJ didn't get himself in shape with little to no instruction from me other than please drink water, don't starve yourself. You know all these different things to make sure he's still
Yeah.
doing some basics. But so we were talking about the training, and one of the big things I always tell him is like, for one, you got to care more about your conversation with people. But he doesn't realize that I'm looking at his body language when we talk.
You're reading more than
Right,
just his
more than
words.
his words. And he like, well, I said, LJ, what you just said and what I just saw, da da
Look
da.
completely
But I didn't
different.
say that. I said, I didn't say you said it. I said, this is what you said,
Yeah.
but this is what I saw. I heard what you said.
Yeah.
Now, you know me, I'm pretty good when it comes to a conversation with a person. I'm locked in. I can remember everything somebody's saying,
Yeah,
especially
yeah,
when I have to, when the jerk in me want to prove a point. I'm being
You got a
honest.
jerk in you? Yeah,
I'm being honest. There's a part of me that's like,
too. You're like,
I'm about to prove
I'm
this
lying
point.
all this stuff.
I'm
All
locked
of
all
I
the
remember.
way in. Oh my goodness. But his body language, and I
Yeah.
tell him, and I had to give an example. I said, suppose you come down excited to me, want to share something, with me, and you're trying to show me something. I'm like, all right, I see you, I hear you, and I'm not looking at you. Yeah, I think you probably don't want to listen to me. I said, exactly. But these are coaching moments that we got to be intentional for him to see that.
Yeah.
So that they know that's what they do. That's what we're
Right.
talking to them.
Right.
And it's hard through the social media, through the
And you
texting
lose
age.
a lot of that
Right.
through the phone.
Because they just text so much. They text so much.
Exactly.
They text so much.
Exactly.
Now, one thing my daughter does, daughter likes to call a little bit more now. Because she was like, she gets how texting you can lose things. So when she had potential confrontation and conflict, she was growing up through high school, we coached her through. Maybe you should at least get the person on the phone versus texting.
Have a conversation.
Because at least you can hear.
Because you can hear. Yeah. You can hear tone. You can hear the inflection
That
in their
part.
voice. What words they go up and down on. You learn so much. And so we've kind of like talk about social media just in general, but it's very easy to lose sight of who you are
Right.
when you're comparing yourself to other people.
Especially when you almost don't even know who you are in the
Exactly,
first place.
because we talk about that, right? So like this whole self-discovery, trying to figure out who you are, and I think like the main thing I would say is that you got to figure out who you are separate and apart from everybody else. There's
Right.
only one you. You know what I'm saying? And so there's only one LeVar with your mindset, your temperament, all of those things. There's only one me. There's only, and we're uniquely different. And I think when we learn to embrace our uniqueness, then we fully live life at a level that we wouldn't be able to had we not.
Right. And it's already hard enough trying to figure out who God made you to be. Not act like, to be. You're a human being, not a human acting, right?
Right.
So you're made to be and to become. He even said that let them have dominion on earth and, let them, become. Like he wants us to become who he made us to become. In the book of Genesis, he talks about that as he was given this divine order to Adam. Like, that's already hard enough getting to think that you know who you are. Look at me. As much as I love talking to people about life, purpose, and godliness, right?
Yeah.
One of my biggest struggles is like, what am I really supposed to be doing though? You know what I mean? I always kind of circle back to that. Like, even I was talking to Andre, Jill's husband, the other day. I was like, I'm out there washing a car, and like, okay, well, I'm pretty confident that I know I'm supposed to be speaking, but about what?
Okay.
About and then. Because I'm a motivator by heart. I feel like that's the thing that comes
naturally.
so natural.
Yeah.
Teaching I can do, but I don't feel as natural in teaching as I do if I'm just out there to get people going. You know what I'm saying? So even that, as I'm trying to fine tune it, and if you watch the mini dose, as I'm trying to see how the pitch is coming off the pitcher's hand,
Right.
as I'm looking for the curveballs, I'm being really intentional because I want to master the gift. I want to create so much value that people come up and throw money in my pockets because the value that God has allowed me to bring to the community, to society. So I need to master what I'm supposed to be doing. So that's why I ask those questions. I know it bothers a lot of folks in my family, like, oh my God, you're still asking the same question?
But here's the thing. Okay, so I'm going to take you back to something you said. I don't know if you made the connection.
Okay,
Because
I
you
probably
said,
didn't.
what am I supposed to be doing?
Right.
But I'm going to take you back to something else you said. You said we're humans being.
Right.
Maybe you're not supposed to be trying to do anything. You're just being who God created you to be naturally.
Right.
Because in your day-to-day living, like we've talked about this before, when we go out and we're talking to people, random strangers will come up and you got moments with them where you're talking about their purpose and motivating them and pouring into their life, and that's you being,
Right.
not necessarily doing. Of course you're doing something,
Right.
but it's in your natural existence.
Right.
And so sometimes we're trying to make ourselves fit. And here's another point: you're trying to make yourself fit and be like somebody else when you're not wired that way.
Right.
And so you miss out on the natural things that you can do well
Mm-hmm.
because you're trying to make yourself fit in a
Mm-hmm.
box that was meant for somebody else.
Right. Right. And that's the good and the bad when it comes to social media, when it comes to what we see, because it is a lot of people talking. Here again, we're two people as well, sharing our opinions, sharing what we believe that we have experienced, and some things that we believe to be true from stats, articles, etc., and Bible, and God. Um, so it's a lot of people talking. So like, who do you really listen to when you think about these master classes? Because my wife definitely helps me out so much. Because she's like, you don't have to try to mimic what, even if you go to a master class, take the information for what the information
And
is.
make it your own.
Right, and because it's like, don't, some things aren't, oh, just do all their steps. It's not about doing all their steps.
Figure out what works for you.
Yeah, yeah. And then what God wants, what He has ordained initially. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like you're saying, the whole being part, so much in doing, because
There's so much on the inside of us
yeah,
that if we really take time to understand who we are, we'll understand that we're gifted beyond measure. Like there are natural gifts that God has placed on the inside of each individual, and they're unique to the person and the way they do it, that sometimes we can miss if we're trying to mimic somebody else.
So here again, as we talk about the social media and the mental health part, right?
Right.
So there's the bonuses, there's the positive that social media can have, and then we definitely know the dark sides of that because of how mean and hateful. Like heck, we talk about positive stuff on my other channel. I Stay Mad on Purpose. Positive stuff. You mentioned God. Some people get rubbed the wrong way.
They do.
I've had some people say some ugly things in the comments.
Really?
I'm talking about just mean and hateful, and it's like, you talking to God. You ain't
Yeah.
like, I try not to take it personal. I can't say it don't bother me. Sometimes I'm like, dang, what's wrong with these people? Like,
That's
bro,
the human side.
but that's
That's
the human
being
side.
real,
Cause
right?
like, golly, like who rubbed you the wrong way?
Who messed with
But
your
man, you might
cornflakes
want to be
this
careful
morning?
because you kind of really talking to God about that, bro. Like,
Yeah.
so you might want to be real careful about
But
mocking
people don't
God.
see it
You know
that
what I
way.
mean? They don't.
Yeah.
They'll learn it the hard way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But that's the part of the mental health part. So I thank God that I'm mentally strong enough to where everybody,
That's such a good
yeah,
point.
because everybody can't
Everybody's
handle
not.
getting in front of the cameras or posting stuff out there, because then
It
imagine you
opens you
having
up.
100,000+ followers, right? Followers or people that's liking your page. Out of those 100,000, you're gonna have at least 20K of them people saying some mean and hateful stuff.
Right.
Can you handle
Yeah,
that?
can you turn it off? And not just that, but where does it cause you to go? Because one of the things in this article I was reading, it talks about how it causes depression, increased anxiety, like, the inability to all kinds of mental health. Sometimes people detach, sometimes
Yep.
they draw suicidal
Yep.
thoughts and stuff like that. Like it gets to the point where you have to be really mindful of how it's affecting you mentally and
Absolutely.
where it's taking you, to the point where I have a friend, and she takes social media breaks. She's like, I'm gonna just take a break. I need to just disconnect from it, because if it's starting to go places and take me places I don't need to go, and that comes with time and with knowledge and wisdom and understanding yourself, like you were saying, like being mindful of, like, is this growing me and feeding me, or is it tearing me down and making me feel worse?
Right, and that's real. Fasting, as people say, sometimes they say fasting from social media. We know biblically fasting is from food and water, but removing yourself from the thing that could be causing you harm or you're consuming too much of. Because believe it or not, consumption from social media can mess with your health, like you just said. Food ain't the only thing unaliving folk.
Right.
What we let sit and fester in our brains
Right.
because of what we have seen and what we start to believe based on what we have seen. Y'all, everybody has to make sure we monitor what we consume in every aspect, because it can do some real damage. And
Right.
we got young adults and that are unaliving themselves at alarming rates. We got older
I was
adults
gonna say, like,
doing as
yeah,
well. It's like, and
yeah.
you figure we're fully cognitive grown. Listen, we are still fragile in the mind, and it's large in part because I tie it back to this. Is I can't say I have the 100% proof, but I truly believe this in my heart. Because we don't know what we are and who we are attached to God, then that's how much more fragile we can be.
Yeah.
Because I think once you get confident in
Yeah.
who He made you to be, you really can't be shook. You know,
Yeah.
it's like it don't get to you like that.
Yeah. And I think here's the thing, and I've noticed this, and
Shook,
maybe other people
shaking.
shaking, shook. So, but that's a I have actually used that as a barometer to see where I was and what I needed to do
Mm-hmm.
to reconnect. Sometimes just because you get confident in that doesn't mean you can't slip back into it.
Right.
So there's been moments where I've like looked around and I'm like, okay, I feel some of them old patterns coming back. I'm feeling like some of those old negative thoughts. What's going on with me? And many times I can see that either I've pulled away from my relationship with him, I'm not giving him the time, it's what I'm exposing myself to. I'm not taking care of myself. I'm not investing in me. I'm not, building. And so it's a moment for me to reset and say, okay, back to basics. We got
Mm.
to get clear again about who are you? Where are
Mm-hmm.
you looking? Are you looking to people for their acceptance?
Mm-hmm.
Or have you found acceptance in him and that's good enough? Because that's where I try to rest.
Right. Give us some steps, everybody that's listening. How could somebody get back to basics?
So for me, it's about like taking that moment to realize, and by basics, I mean when you have built a healthy confidence in yourself. For me, that's through God because I anchor myself in who He says that I am, and that He tells me I'm loved and accepted regardless of who I am, what I do, because He already decided that.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, getting back to basics is okay, what am I feeding myself? Am I listening to things that are
Mm-hmm.
building me up? Am I reading things that are going to be more positive? Am I eating well? Am I drinking water? Am I taking care of my body? Am I being mindful of the thoughts that are kind of in my mind? Am I taking them captive and pushing them away? Am I, watching what I'm receiving from the TV? So it's about, and it's different for every person, but it's about you realizing like where have I gotten off track and how do I get back to what that looks like for me. And so you
Mm-hmm.
have to be willing to take a moment and step back and say, what is it? Do I need to spend
Mm-hmm.
more time with God? I need to get back in His Word. Do I need to, listen to more Christian and uplifting music? And, there's still positive music out there that might not be Christian in nature, but
Mm-hmm.
am I listening to that? You know what I'm saying? So it's
Mm-hmm.
about finding maybe what worked for you before and going back to the basics of how you got there. For me, it's therapy. I go to
Right.
therapy every 2 weeks. It's
Mm-hmm.
a regular thing, and I'm going to keep it regular because I just need to have a space where I can hear myself talk and an objective person help me rationalize my thoughts and think through it.
That's good.
And, sometimes I know in our community we're like, oh, mental health, going to therapy, somebody's going to tell me what's wrong with me. Sometimes we all have blind spots,
Mm-hmm.
and I am grateful to have met someone who is biblically sound and rooted. Even our couples counselor
Mm-hmm.
is, that points us back to the word. Everything is rooted in that. So you
Mm-hmm.
got to find what works for you, but being able
Mm-hmm.
to have that outlet and somebody to say, okay, where's that coming from, what's that rooted in,
Mm-hmm.
and deal with the deeper issues even
Right.
maybe.
Yo, belief is huge. So there's a scripture, and I hope everybody hears this part. And our little software that edits, I hope it
Hmm.
catch this. It says you are God's masterpiece.
Right.
What is a masterpiece when you think about like art?
Yeah.
Something perfected.
Yeah.
Somebody spent time. Like you are God. How God originally sent you, how He originally sent you to earth.
Hmm.
You were considered God's masterpiece.
Right.
Before all the changes we made to ourselves, before all the lies that people told us that we believed, before the
Hmm.
lies that we told ourselves that we believe, before the lies that are out there on social media that we start to believe,
Absolutely.
God says you are His masterpiece.
Right.
Grabbing a hold of that and coming to believe that, y'all, we can still undo a lot of stuff that has been done.
Hmm.
So a lot of people have done some permanent changes to themselves too that can still, in a sense, be undone.
Hmm.
Because this is how the Father looks at us.
Yeah.
I don't care what human that has misrepresented God, Jesus Christ. God says, you're my masterpiece. I love you. I want you to flow in the relationship that I have giving us an opportunity to have with him, because that's the thing. That's the ammunition needed to battle the social media and mental health awareness. Like, to be okay with who God originally
Created us
made
to
you
be.
to be. Now the challenge is most of us don't know who God made us to be. So we
Yeah.
start making
That's a good
alterations.
point. I went into the word and figured out what God said about me.
Right.
Like, what does he say about me? And in those moments when I feel unanchored, I anchor myself back in that. Like the scriptures, like that I am his beloved, I'm the apple of his eye, like that he
Fearfully,
knows the
wonderfully
numbers
made.
of hair on my head.
Come on.
Like, what about that? That's a different type of
That's
love.
detail.
Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, he's
That's
very
like
thorough in his love.
that's like back to the baseball analogy we talking about, the curveball and the
Yeah,
last
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
That's like being able to count the stripes, the stitching
On the
in the base on the
ball,
ball,
even
even
more.
while it's rotating. Yo, this is the magnitude of God's divinity and how
His
detailed and
care
specific
and
he
his
is.
love for us.
Like, he stitched you together, he put you together, and I get it. None of us in our own eyes are perfect, fine, whatever. But how he originally sent you to earth
Yeah.
before any unclean, unseen spirit started tormenting your mind, our minds, getting us to believe that we're not made in the way that
Yeah,
we
yeah,
were supposed
yeah.
to be made. Like, before all those lies, y'all, God says, you're fearfully and wonderfully made. I knew you
Yes.
before
Yeah.
you were even in your mother's womb. Mother's womb.
Yeah.
Like, he,
Before you even came to be, he
before you
already knew
came
you.
to your fetal had a heartbeat, God says, I knew you.
I already knew you.
You're
And
fearfully
I
wonderfully made.
already approved you. You're already loved. You're already enough. You're all those things.
Yep. And we get here and we get exposed to things
Yeah.
and we don't think we're enough and we change up who we're supposed to be. We make alterations in our mind and our bodies and etc. And now we're misrepresenting who we were made to be.
Yeah.
And then sometimes there are people who totally in their hearts hate what they've done to themselves,
Yeah.
but they feel like they're so far in. They look at Dre. They so far in, they can't come back.
Yeah.
And I've had a previous coworker tell me that before. She said she was so far into a lifestyle she didn't feel like she could turn around. And she shared that, I don't know, does he need us to come let him in? Like, y'all know this is, we don't edit. We just like to roll through this thing.
Yeah, well, he done cut the TV on. He
Right.
outside on the deck. Anyway.
But that was it hurt my heart hearing that from her
Yeah.
because she looked hurt. Like, will God still accept me when I feel like I'm so far gone?
Here's the thing. Okay. And maybe this is a good point to do because I love the fact that you say it's a masterpiece. But I like to tell people it's we're both a masterpiece and a work in progress at the same time. And some people don't understand, but like just because an artist is painting a picture and it's not done yet doesn't mean it's not already beautiful and accepted and love. You get what I'm saying? And so it's like God loves us not because of our behavior and us getting it right all the time. He loves us because he created us.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like it's beyond your behavior. It's beyond the mistakes that you've made, your imperfections, and that's what I had to really work at to be able to disconnect my worth, my value from the fact that I got it right all the time. Right. I had to be able to say, I get it wrong almost every day. I can think of something that I could go back and done better.
Right.
But I'm okay. It's okay because he still loves me. That's not his love, his care, and his acceptance of us is never in question. Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
But the world will make us believe that because you messed up, you're not lovable. Because we even love each other not with his perfect love.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? He is the ultimate unconditional.
And listen, we all know what we're doing. We know what's right and wrong.
Yeah.
I don't need to come up to you as a Christian and be like, this is what you're doing wrong, you're going to hell for.
Say it again
because
for the people
in
the
your
back.
heart, you already know what he is not okay with.
Right.
Now, some of us have come to convince ourselves, well, I don't care. Okay. But in our hearts of hearts, we know, we know, because God's word even says that his law is written on the hearts of the Gentiles, the ones who didn't even have the law. It's on their hearts. This is the thing, y'all. To truly get to being okay with yourself mentally and through all the social media and all that stuff, and even biblically and just in your life, because biblically spiritual, y'all. That's the reality. We gotta get to that point to understand that it's God's love that turns you away from the lifestyle that He doesn't want you to have. Like realizing that He loves you and the amazing things that He wants to do for you and that He does. And I think there's a scripture like His blessing is the thing that turns a man's heart to repentance.
Yeah,
It
it's
ain't
his
that I
love.
reminded you that you going to
No.
hell and everything else. Listen, it ain't that I reminded you that you live in the wrong lifestyle, because that's going to anger you and put you in more fear and frustration
Right.
even more.
And drive
And
you
it's not
further
about me
away.
being scared to say something that might
Mm-hmm.
step on your toes when it's right. But God loves you. Y'all, He stitched you together.
Mm-hmm.
He formed you in His image, likeness. We're on this planet. It says the glory of the Lord is all over the earth. He's talking about us, y'all.
Right.
It's not no mist and no smoke. He's talking about His humans that He created.
Right.
You, the one who has made so many changes to their body, to their mind. You, the one who feels like, no, I'm too far gone. You, the one who has
You're
done some
never too
hateful and
far
mean things.
gone.
You listening. God says, you are my masterpiece
Still.
to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Because He's really looking here. You could have butchered your whole body up beyond recognition. If your heart turns back to Christ,
Right.
guess who's good? You are.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all it is, man.
Yeah.
You can get through this social media stuff. You can get through the depression and everything else. And yes, there's therapy and stuff that's needed a lot of times. Y'all, but it really starts here. Before you can turn, so they were talking at work the other day about how all these kids, they don't comply. Da, da, da. I said, you can't get nobody to comply until they care. I can't. Every kid that I've ever mentored, they didn't turn their life around and comply until they cared, and also until they knew somebody else cared.
Right.
So that care and compliance, it's a fine line, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like you gotta show care, and then you have to care before you're ready to comply. So when somebody realizes that God really cares about them,
That part.
and then they start caring about themselves,
Right.
then they'll comply with Jesus Christ.
Right.
But I ain't
That's
gonna
great.
come fuss and yell and fight with them to get them to realize that you already know what you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing wrong.
Listen, any of us that are believers and have the Spirit living on the inside of us, He quietly will tell you, you know what I'm saying, and guide you, and live that life for you. And
Right.
so you make a excellent point. Like, we got to be mindful of how we approach people and how we treat them, and expect respect. You know, we want you to respect me because I no, you need to show me you care about me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
I really like
Yeah,
that.
that one hit me too because it was
I
like,
could
man,
tell.
wow, I'm still kind of low just because we don't care enough. The compassion on the planet is really at an all time low. It feels like, and people need to know that you care. These kids need to know that you care. The adults need to know,
Everybody.
and you need to care about yourself. Look in
Yeah.
the mirror, and you need to be able to care about yourself, which is why most of us are like we don't care about anybody else because
It starts
we're
with
struggling
you.
to care about yourself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can't give people what you ain't gave yourself.
Right.
And so I used to hear people say that, like, you can't love somebody until you really love yourself. And I didn't understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand it now to be like, you can't offer people what you can't even
Right.
offer yourself. It starts with
Right.
you.
If I'm
you
on
know?
E, if we use money for example, if I don't have $1 to my name, I can't give you $1.
Yeah.
And if I don't get care in my heart, love in my heart, if I'm at an all-time low, I can't give it. Now, I know who has an endless supply of love. That's Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Hands down, y'all. The one who created all these things, He has an an amount that we don't understand, an endless amount, an infinite amount, unconditional,
Yeah.
through it all. And we don't even understand what unconditional really means because we're all
We
conditional.
really don't.
We're
Yeah,
some
yeah, yeah.
conditional beings.
Yeah, we really
know what I
don't.
mean?
We don't grasp the bigness of it,
Right.
how huge it is.
I mean, I say I love my kids unconditionally, but they get on my nerves sometimes, and I be,
I think
you
we
know,
get on God's nerves sometimes
Ooh,
too.
I
He
know.
probably do. He
I know.
probably
I
be like,
think
really? She
I
again?
know. I do. I know, but His love's still there.
Yeah.
Because the crazy thing about it, and I wouldn't put this to the test anymore than I know a little better, is I have received so much more favor and grace in the most disobedient times of my life. Now, I won't put that to the test. Now, I'm not gonna go be
we gonna
disobedient
try.
on
We gonna
purpose.
be reckless. Yeah, yeah,
Because He
yeah. No, I
matured
get
me.
it.
I thank God He caused me to
I
grow
get
and
what
learn
you're
some.
saying.
But that's what brought me back.
And that's the thing. he draws us with his loving kindness. And
Please.
sometimes we haven't mastered that. And that's
Mm-hmm.
how we draw other people in as well, by loving them. Like, you know, when I lead, in the role of a counselor, it's not about just teaching you some habits and stuff. It's about caring about you,
Mm-hmm.
about sincerely. Like, I used to think about when I would have clients coming in, I'd be excited to see them because
Mm-hmm.
I cared about them,
Mm-hmm.
and it meant something to hear them grow and learn about themselves and expand, and unpack the past trauma, and become this better version, and smile genuinely. Like, it really, like, I really cared for them, and so that's how we have to lead with people. Back to what you said, like, love them. Like, people know where they're getting it wrong. They know where they're not
Mm-hmm.
measuring up, but
Mm-hmm.
nobody wants that continually pointed out to them. That doesn't
Right.
help.
And it's a time and place for that.
It is.
It's a time and place for that.
It is.
You know, I feel like when Christ walked the earth, when Jesus, because Christ is the anointed one, that's not his last name. But when Jesus walked the earth, the person, although fully human, fully God, he built relationships,
Yes.
fluid and naturally. And there were times for those one-on-one conversations
Mm-hmm.
where he had with people. And then there were times when he had the multitudes, and he said, "You guys are wrong." There were
Yeah.
times for that, but it was through building relationships, proper
Exactly.
timing, proper balance, and
Exactly.
he knew exactly when and how to do it. It's us that are still learning that. But I would say, lead with love first, y'all, because I won't let my guard down with you if you leave with anything else other than love and care, and
Exactly.
and being genuine.
Absolutely. And the thing is, like, you know, because that was his heart, and his heart is for us to be better, it does come along with correction.
Mm-hmm.
But that correction is not, I've learned, for me personally, that it's not this harshness that I thought it was. It's this gentle, now you could
Mm-hmm.
have handled that better.
Mm-hmm.
Or the spirit will bring up in you, and, like, okay, yeah, you could have said that
Mm-hmm.
different.
Mm-hmm.
Or, that's not really, you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so even that is, him. And sometimes he has to get a little more forceful if you're
Mm-hmm.
a little
And we
more
may have to go
stubborn or
without.
whatever.
Some things you're going to go without some things sometimes.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing. And so I think when we recognize that love is the thing, it's the basis and the foundation for everything.
Absolutely.
Everything.
If you take nothing from today, love yourself,
Mm.
realize and just come to accept and believe that God
Mhm.
absolutely loves you. You're
Mhm.
an absolute masterpiece. He made you fearfully and wonderfully made in his image. He knew you before you even formed in your mother's womb.
Yeah.
Y'all come to understand that, and then it's easier to process through the social media. That's a part of our lives. It's here.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's part of
Yeah.
our lives.
Yeah. It's gonna be here.
But find the good food.
Yeah.
Find the good stuff, the good content. Something's going to feed your spirit, feed your soul, help you grow, help you return on your investment. If you're going to spend 2.5 hours a day on social media,
Yeah.
make sure you're going to see a return
On
on
your
your investment. What do
investment.
I mean? What are your goals and aspirations in
Yeah.
life? And if what I'm about to sit down and watch, to include us,
Yeah.
this is not for everybody,
Right.
right? But if what I'm about to sit down and give my time to or spend like money, my time with, if it's not going to bring a return on my investment to get me a step or a day, a moment closer to what I feel like God is growing me to be, to
Mm-hmm.
become, then don't spend another hour with it.
Right. Right.
That's all I got to say.
It's like, I'm done. Well, listen, we hope that you've gotten something from today.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, a lot of somethings from today. But I want you to know that we love you. We're always praying for the people that tune in. We
Absolutely.
continue to pray that this reaches who it needs to reach, and we want to invite you to like, share, and subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
Put in
Comment.
some comments in the
Mm-hmm.
comment section. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know what your journey looked like. How did you, if you've mastered this or you've gotten good at loving yourself, how did you do that? Put some tips in there. If you're still struggling, you need some prayer, let us know that
Mm-hmm.
too. We're willing
Yeah.
to pray for you.
Yeah. Share with us how you deal with social media
Yes.
and the mental,
And the
health.
trolls, as
Yeah.
they call them, the social media trolls,
Right.
how
That
you put
part.
your thick skin on.
Right.
Anyway, we're glad you joined us for this dose, and we hope we'll see you next time, you and a lot of other people too.
That's right. Share it.